Hey guys, what is going on? This is Ip of RageQuitTV, going to be casting a game between Liquid Jinro and FXO.Tear. It is a PvT on Entombed Valley, and I cannot wait to see this game because Jinro has been working on his TVP quite a bit. This game was played 8 days ago while he was still in Korea, because right now he is in Columbus at MLG. Can't wait to see how he plays, just because TVP is his absolute worst matchup by far. So he's been working on it quite a bit, because I don't care how good you are at 2 of the matchups, if you're not good at all 3, you will not make it that far in a open bracket, just because a Protoss would come around and knock you out. Jinro is going to be opening up with a 10 supply depot because, well, what Terran player doesn't open with a 10 supply depot? Tear is going to open with a 9 pylon, again, most common opener. We'll see if he goes for a 12 or 13 gateway. Of course, he could go for a Forge and Cannon Rush, but, well, that just doesn't happen that often. It is FXO.Tear, not Combat X. So, we'll see if he goes for a 12 or a 13 gate. I am guessing he will be going for a 13 gateway, then going out to scout. A little bit odd that he doesn't scout after his 9 pylon, because if he scouts Jinro last now, he can get walled off and get absolutely 0 scouting. You have to know if they're going to be going for a 1 racks expand, a 2 racks pressure, or a 1-1-1. Those are the 3 most common openers. If you don't know what is happening, you can really get very far behind just based upon the build order. And Tear is actually not going to be scouting, going to be going for the gas at 15. And I guess he's just going to be playing this match blindly, while Jinro is going to be scouting. And this is going to work out so good for Jinro, because he's going to be able to tailor his build to what Tear is doing. And Tear, well, he'll just have to play this blindly. And Jinro, if he does this correctly, will be able to get a great scout on Tear and play so macro heavy, which is how Jinro does play, because not only does he get to scout this, he will most likely hide the SCV like all Terran players do, and then go in the base at about 6 minutes and see, okay, should I go for 3 bunkers at my ramp, or am I fine with just the 1 or 2 bunkers? Jinro is going to get the scout on, a Zealot is going to be coming out. The SCV has another 40 seconds left in this base, just to see if a second gas does get taken, but Jinro looking like he does want to leave. That is a little bit odd, leaving a little bit early. He is going to be going for a 1 barracks expand. Of course, Tear will have no idea about this, which leads me to believe he is going to be pushing out with a Zealot and Stalker, because you have to get some type of scouting on your opponent. I don't care how good you are. If you play this match 100% blindly, you're not going to be doing well. You do see Jinro going to be hiding his SCV out. And because Tear did not go out to scout, he is not going to be at this watchtower. If he did go out to scout, he would see what Jinro's doing, so he'd be like, okay, I can go for a 1 gate safely, or I can go for, like, a 1 gate expand into a lot of gates and put pressure on this. But because he didn't do that, he's just playing this blindly. And additionally to doing that, he'd have his probe at the watchtower, and then see, oh, the SCV did not return home. The SCV is somewhere out on the map, which means he is going to be coming back in to get a delayed scout on. We do see Tear finally going at the scout, but again, he doesn't know this SCV is out hiding, and Jinro going to be going back in. It does take about a minute for the SCV to go from this side of the map to this side, and it looks like Tear is going to be moving on out. So Jinro is going to get a complete scout on Tear, and this is so good for him. Going for this 1 barracks expand, going to be getting a few more, and this will tell him exactly how many bunkers he has to get. There he goes. It's 5 minutes and 30 seconds, so it looks like only takes about 30 seconds to go from one side of the map to the other. There is a sentry up at the ramp, and Jinro is going to come in, see 3 gateways, 2 building, and that gas now just completing. So he should know, okay, it's not going to be that much pressure, but he doesn't have any robo facility. So Jinro, the correct call would be to get 2 bunkers, because if Tear does put on pressure with just a few Stalkers, which he can do, because, well, they wouldn't lose any shields, he could see he only has 1 bunker and go for some type of pressure. We'll see exactly how Tear ends up playing this. That probe did return home without building any pylon. The Zealot going to be coming back, and again, he is just playing this blindly. He has only seen the 1 bunker in the command center, so he knows it is not going to be a 1-1-1 or a standard 1-1. I've actually seen players start doing 1-on-1 with an expand, but it still is just very funky. There we go, a few more sentries, and the probe is going to be coming. But since he doesn't have a lot of stalkers, he can't be putting pressure on this ramp. And Jinro is still just at this one bunker. He should be putting another one down relatively soon. We'll see if he ends up seeing this. Sees the probe, and that is a mistake going up the ramp with the probe, because now Jinro knows there is a pylon down here, or the possibility is very high there's a pylon. And we'll see if he ends up getting bunkers now. It looks like he is unfazed against that. He does have his factory getting a reactor, getting that starport, so he will go for a double medevacs relatively soon. Robotics facility on the way. Their Zealot's going to be coming up. Jinro doesn't have the extra bunkers, and I think that is a huge mistake. Has he done any scans? No, he hasn't. He is going to be repairing that bunker, and we'll see. Does he throw on any more bunkers? There we go. 2 more bunkers going to be going down back here. And this is the correct spot for them. This will prevent sentries from being able to force field bunkers. They can force field 1, but they can't really force field all 3 at the same time. Tear, though, just has a lot of Zealots, a Stalker, and these sentries. And Jinro did see a lot of Zealots walk up the ramp, so he's got to be wondering what happened to Tear's gas. And it wouldn't surprise me to see him get an engineering base. Oh, no, he already has one. There's the infantry weapons. About 2 minutes into its upgrade, we do have a probe going to be going out to take a 3rd base. We're just going to be building a pylon out. A lot more Zealots going to be coming up. Still sees those sentries, but sees the energy is relatively all at the same on the sentries. So he knows, okay, you haven't warped in any new sentries, and this is all just going in to say, okay, there's something going on. And we can see, because, well, we have Observer Map Hack, that he is getting +1 armor and blink at the same time. And I'm kind of surprised he doesn't have any robo facility yet. Tear is going to be falling back. And Jinro, we'll see exactly what he ends up doing. Now he has his medevacs out, so he is safe to salvage these bunkers, as you do see him doing. Medevacs pretty much puts an end at the gateway pressure, which means you don't really need bunkers, but he is going to be getting a missile turret up again, because he just hasn't seen that many units get warped in when they kept poking up that ramp. And again, Jinro's, he is, let's go to this worker count, 47 SCVs, 253 probes, so it looks like it is about even. A Marine going across the map, just getting what scouting he can, looking for any type of hidden pylons. And now going to see the 1 pylon down here, and that will be taken on out. Tear, on the other hand, again, he is going for upgrades, just 1 forge at a time. Well, 1 upgrade at a time, because he just has 1 forge out. He is going for a charge right now. He does have blink. It's a little bit odd that he went for blink first, just because going to a stalker count, he only has 6 stalkers, while he does have 12 zealots. Of course, blink is very good at dealing with drops, so maybe that's why he did. You don't need that many stalkers to deal with drops or make a turn player scared of dropping. And he is just whooping in more and more zealots. Focusing on this armor upgrade will make those Marines do so little damage with this Guardian Shield. But we do see Jinro, oddly enough, he is working on his armor right now. Kind of surprised he doesn't work on +2 attack. He has his armory, so we'll see exactly what he ends up doing. Temple Archives on the way for Tear right now. And that Storm is going to be so good against Jinro's army of mainly just Marines. And if Jinro wanted to deal with Storm by getting a lot of Marauders, Tear already has that defended with all these Zealots. And notice the Zealots were in a hold position and not casting that charge, which is very important, because if he had that charge auto-casted, Jinro, he would walk up with 1 or 2 Marines, all the Zealots would burn that charge, and then it would be wasted, and Jinro could do a lot of damage. So nice to see those Zealots were in a hold position, so they didn't auto-cast the charge. And Jinro now splitting up all his units, trying to get as much map vision as possible. That 1 Marine gonna get taken out, and Jinro still has great map vision. Few Stalkers do come. Jinro now knows, okay, you are at 0-2 upgrades. He is working on that Mobius reactor for those Ghosts. And this 1 Marine is going to come in. I believe he saw the expansion. Yes, he did. He does see the 3rd base coming up. But Jinro already has his 3rd base completed. And now still playing this just very happily in the style he wants to play, in a macro style. But Jinro probably doesn't want to play this style right now, because he wants to work on his Protoss cheese. So his macro game in TVP may be slacking just a little bit, because I know he has been working a lot on TVP early game, not so much the late game of TVP. We do have him working on 2-2, and Tear has finally got up his second forge, and he is going to be working on 1-3 right now. That storm has completed. He does have 4 Templars already out, so he will be able to throw down quite a bit of storms. That means Jinro cannot really engage this army. He has switched into Ghost production, isn't building any Marines right now, going for a Ghost Marauder, which I guess is good, but you can't have that many Marauders when your opponent has this many Zealots and just working on that armor upgrade, because Marauders are going to do 0 damage. Well, not 0, but quite next to 0. Marauders actually deal less DPS to Zealots than Marines. And if all you have is Marauders against Zealots, yes, you can kill the Zealots very, very easily. But you're going to be wasting a lot of stims, which means you can't put pressure on your opponent, and you will constantly be cutting backwards towards your base, which means the Protoss player can just mass Zealots, keep you cutting backwards, which means you can't attack, allowing them to just mass expand, and then build up an army to kill all your Marauders. It will look like a very close game for a very long time, because the battles will be very even. You will just be constantly cutting the Zealots. Your Medivacs will get out of energy, and eventually you won't be able to stim anymore, and then all of a sudden the Protoss has 2 or 3 more bases than you, and you're like, oh my god, how did I get so far behind? It looks like I kind of missed a drop. Going into the Workers Killed. Doesn't really look like any damage was done by that drop. Lots of units are injured. Not exactly sure what happened there. I only see the 1 Templar. He still has pretty high energy. Maybe a few Stalkers blinked and dealt with it. No idea. My bad, guys. We do have Marines going to be scouting this 4th base. Going to try to take this cannon out, but does not get it. Viking is sitting right here. Not exactly sure what that Viking is waiting for. Maybe a Warp Prism to come around. Jinro does get a lot of command centers right now and is lifting his non-orbital command. That is a little bit interesting. Maybe going to be morphing this into a PF and keeping a bunch of orbital commands back in where it's safe to land a bunch of mules. And since he has PFs, it'll be very hard for him to lose these bases. We'll see exactly what he ends up doing. He is working on +3 right now, while the Protoss player just working on +2. But Jinro only at +2 armor, while Tear is at +3 armor, and now working on that shields upgrade, getting some Colossus out. Scan goes down on this army. Can see the composition of just mainly Zealots and Templars. And that means Jinro could kind of try to abuse Tear by multi-prong attacks, as long as he stims his units in these Medivacs. Maybe that's what he was doing, so the Medivacs did not have energy. Notice there's Medivacs, no energy on them, and now Jinro is going in for a drop, and a lot of Protoss players just rely on high Templars to defend bases, and when Medivacs don't have energy, there's not much a Templar can do, and now Jinro going to be going in from 2 sides, sniping those Templars, throws the scan, doesn't see any sentries there, not sentries, observers there, so those ghosts are going to be safe. And now Tear is going to be attacking Jinro right here, but Jinro doing a lot of damage at this 1 base while cutting this force back, and again, just has Marauders left, and that means he can kill this force actually, but he is going to be wasting a lot of Medivac energy and won't have any momentum forward. And that is the problem with just pure Marauders when it comes to a lot of Zealots. Storm is going to be going down, and those Marauders will get healed eventually. Jinro is going to be building a lot more Marines, and that is good. I hate when it goes to late game and you see a player with just mass Marauders. Scan goes down, he takes out the Observer, and well, that allows him to kill even more. We do have Jinro taking another base, and Tear is actually behind right now, and Jinro is getting 2 nukes, 137 supply to 101 supply. I'm actually surprised that Jinro is ahead. Now going to be doing another drop. Looks like he stimmed up some units yet again. But 2 Colossus right here, and that will put an end to this drop. With those storms, Jinro has to go back up. But at the same time, he is going to be attacking over here. Throws a scan again, just looking for those observers. Throwing another scan so he can snipe the observer. Also sees all these Zealots, so he is going to be getting back. And Medivacs are going to be healing up, staying low on energy. And Jinro has so many units split up, and it's so cool to see his map vision. And the Ghost does run out of energy, but he does end up hiding. The factory's still alive. And this is something that Jinro isn't doing, but maybe it's because Tear is mainly just on a ground-to-ground attack. But what I really like seeing when players incorporate factories that are floating in their attacks. Say Jinro is attacking the base right here, and the factory floated right here. If Tear had his army right here, did an A move over here, all the Stalkers would just stop and attack the factory. And, well, if the Stalkers are in the battle, that does help Jinro. We do have a Zealot moving on out, but this is a PF, and that Zealot will be getting taken out. But floating that factory can really mess with the AI, but Tear just mainly massing up Zealots, Colossus, and Templar. And Jinro, he had 2 nukes, but he isn't really using them. Does have Ghost hidden around the maps, and as I say that, there goes the first nuke, and he won't be able to cloak for too long, but he is on... No, he has 50 energy left, and there goes another nuke. And this Ghost doesn't have any energy, but he is sitting outside of the vision. And the first nuke lands, doesn't kill any pros, but this Nexus below 500 energy and will be going down with this nuke. And that will put Tear just on 3 bases. But he is going to be maxed out, and maxed out Protoss with Colossus, Templars, and Archon are very, very scary. Again, especially when Jinro has this army. It's mainly just a bio army, has a lot of Ghost, and is getting a lot of nukes, so it looks like he is just going to be massing nukes. And this is what we know Jinro for, playing a very macro style and just using nukes effectively. Or not effectively, he just masses nukes. He has done that since, well, the beta. That's what he's been known for, and what he did in the early stages of GSL was one of the only Terran players that would play macro games. And there goes another scan and a defensive nuke. And Tear, he has a nuke, and even if he doesn't see where it is, it does play a lot of mind games. Even if it doesn't do any damage, he just hears that nuke, and that forces him to look all around for it. Scan gonna go down and look at this army, and we'll see if he does end up nuking, because if he nukes 3 times, maybe Tear will get tired of looking around the map, assume it's somewhere just defensive position, and then Jinro will just take out a base. And looks like Tear is going to be attacking this way. We don't have any Ghost here, so there won't be a defensive nuke here. And Jinro is going to be going to get into position. Only has a few Vikings, and those Vikings don't have any upgrades. Jinro has just now started to ship weapons. And there we go. A nuke is going to come down, and that will save that base. Tear knows about this base, but does not want to go up there. That is a little bit odd. Maybe it's because these rocks aren't taken out, so if he goes up this ramp, he can kind of get trapped right here at this one ramp. A lot of his force isn't that mobile with just Zealots, Templars, and Colossus. And Jinro now getting up sensor turrets. We do have just Marines still scattered about the map. Look at Jinro's vision right now. Has great, great vision, and going to Tear's vision doesn't have that good a vision. And as I said that, there is another nuke going down. And Zealot did take out, I think, a Ghost over there, but not the correct one. This nuke is going to hit this Nexus, and not too effective. Does kill 1 probe, does some damage, and another nuke is going down back at this one base. The Ghost isn't cloaked and will be getting taken out, but that's not a big loss for Jinro at this part of the game. You can see how many minerals he actually has, and just has a few Marauders going to go off on the side, try to poke and snipe a base. Marauders at 3 attack can snipe bases so ridiculously quickly, and look how many Ghosts Jinro has. He is up to 17 Ghosts, can just mass EMP an entire army, but he doesn't have that many Marines. His DPS after he gets the EMPs off is not high at all. We do see more Marauders than Marines, but Tear does have kind of an anti-Marine force with all these Colossus. So while Jinro can put a lot of pressure on Tear, there's not much he can do in a heads-up fight, just because those mass Marauders I don't think will be good, or the mass bio, in fact, won't be that good against what Jinro has. Those Ghosts, again, don't have that much DPS once their EMPs do land. But he is just massing nukes. I don't even know where this nuke is. Ah, right here on a few cannons. Throwing a nuke to take out 2 cannons and a pylon. But you know what? Jinro can do that. It is this late in the game, and all these nukes are just keeping Tear contained. Because again, if Tear attacks Jinro's army, I don't think Jinro's army will win. Unless he can manage to get a nuke off on the army. And those High Templars do have a lot of energy. Another nuke going off. Where is this one? Looks like it is just defensive, and again, at the base of Tear. All the pros pulled off the line. Again, has Jinro scouted this one base? No, he hasn't. And this Nexus still has full shield, so it's not really doing that much damage. It's just being a nuisance at this point in the game, and Jinro gonna be moving out, throwing a defensive nuke right here, gonna hold this watchtower while he nukes even more. Gonna be moving units away. It almost hits his own Vikings. Actually, 2 Vikings taking a little bit of damage there. This one Ghost cloaked in the back, and another nuke goes off on this base. Scan goes down, seeing where the army is, and gets another nuke off. Oh my god, that's a great nuke spot. There's no way that Ghost can be dealt with, but Tear does get away from it. This Nexus is just under assault by nukes, and oh my god, the force is going back. Tear does not know about that nuke and is losing quite a bit of units. And going into this, well, he's still got a decent amount of units, but all those Colossus are very low, and that will allow the Vikings to take them out. The Vikings are only at +1 attack, and now Jinro is going to be going in. And the supply 183 to 200. There goes the GG. And let's watch that again. What does that supply drop to after that nuke? And that was definitely an interesting playstyle by Jinro. It wasn't the most fun to watch, but again, it is fun to watch nukes if you don't see them that often. So I do like that game, but I think just mainly all the Zealots died, which meant the Marauders could just auto-attack and hit the things they're good at DPSing against. The Zealots are mainly great for a tank. And here we go. Wait, a few more minutes. There we go. Scan goes down. There goes that second nuke. Going into Tear's vision. And this lost actually units. So right now he's watching that. Let's go to the Zealot count. 27 Zealots and 6 High Templars. I think he went down to 4 High Templars or 3 High Templars, but watch his vision. Actually, no, don't watch the vision because he's not going to see this. We want to watch this nuke drop, and oh my god, does it hit a lot. 27 Zealots, 9 Stalkers, and 1 Archon. I don't think the Archon Colossus will die, but the key thing to note, 27 Zealots and 6 High Templars. And now that goes down to 9 Zealots and 3 High Templars. The Stalker count stays the same, Colossus count again stays the same, but looking at the HP of those Colossus, definitely very, very injured. And going into the loss, let's just see how much he actually loses. 177 supply to... Oh man, that's a cool pause. So the loss hasn't taken effect, so 16.2k. Oh no, it probably has. But 170 supply to 134 supply. Losing about 40 supply in that one nuke, and then he immediately just goes in because, again, he's right there waiting. And no, he lost 2.5k resources in that. So that's interesting that the loss tab actually was delayed while the side thing wasn't. Pretty cool. Paused it at the perfect second. And we'll do a little bit of analysis on this game in SC2 Gears. Not really that much that can be done from this game besides looking at APM, I think. Let's see. Or EMPs and nukes used. That could be cool. Going to Jinro, 57 macro APM, 100 micro. And the interesting thing is, Tear with 108 macro APM for a Protoss player. That is absolutely interesting, especially because he never really hit max supply. I don't know what the heck he was doing. And then 134 micro APM. He has a 51% redundancy, but man, is this guy fast. EAPM 117 versus Jinro's 190, but keep in mind that is a lot of redundancy. Overall, APM 243 to 158. And let's go back into the game. Go to about 16 minutes, and I'm sure maybe his Nexus energy is all used. Let's see, no, 80 energy, 86. I have no clue how his macro APM is so high, but it is. Let's see. Resources spent. We can see Jinro spending more minerals and gas because he was on more bases majority of the game. And yeah, that game was mainly just nukes. There's not that much to say about it, so we will go into the units built. 108 Zealots versus 62 Marauders, 79 Marines, 33 Ghosts. But ability groups, this is where the game does change. We can see Tear not really using that many abilities. 5 Blinks, 5 Storms, no feedbacks. Versus 24 nukes built, 17 landed. 17 shot, I should say. No, I think that's actually 17 landed and 24 built. I don't think this actually counts unless... no, it counts if a nuke gets shot. Never mind. Forget what I'm talking about. Okay, 5 snipes, not that many. 10 EMPs, 31 scans, 58 stems. But it was interesting how Jinro kept scanning the army, seeing where it was, placing the defensive nukes as he moved out. He kind of used the nukes to allow him to push out, which was absolutely amazing. We'll go back into the game, and this will be the last thing we do. And we'll watch... not right here. Let's go 22 minutes, maybe? Nah. 24. We'll mainly just watch Jinro. At, let's go faster times 4. That can kind of tell you his positioning. So, the first nuke does go down, and I won't pause it. And that nuke is somewhere, just offensive, and watch how he uses these nukes and just pushes his way across the map, and we should go in his vision. Faster times 2 should be fine. Oh, wait. Make sure we're in the game. So the first nuke goes down there. He kind of sees the army moving down from these nukes. And that will allow him to move his army out. Watch, once he sees that army again, there we go. Sees the Colossus, throws a scan, and he knows, okay, the middle of the map is fine. Sees the army come back, so he's going to pull back. And then he's going to do, he's just going to push out again with nukes, seeing where the army is. This small force of Mirage does come in, snipes this, forces the army come back. There we go, a scan does go down. Jinro is going to be moving on out. Army's right there, going to take hold of this middle of the map, and then going to throw another defensive nuke just to hold this position right here. Maybe not quite yet. We'll see. He is pulling back. I could have swore he kind of used defensive nukes to hold the position in the middle of the map while he just mass nukes. So he scanned again, goes down, so he does pull back. Nuke goes down, another nuke. Pulls the army back, nuke goes down the middle of the map, allowing him to move. Sees again, the army is right there. And at this point, he has the middle of the map, which is very interesting. On this map, I guess Jinro knows this because he probably plays with nukes a lot. But on this map, if you're doing the style that Jinro has, if you can keep the Protoss player right here with his army, you can kind of trap this army right here with just nukes. I mean, this whole area, you can nuke right here, probably right here, and right here from safety in this little crevice. And of course your army is back here, so the Protoss player kind of gets trapped in this area. And if you nuke enough, Jinro is showing that the Protoss will make a mistake just because there's so many nukes going off. What Jinro could have done in this situation, thrown the nukes down, and even if Tear dodged the nukes perfectly, he is trapped in this one area and at max supply, which means Jinro could go around with handfuls of Marauders and drops and just snipe all the production facilities, trying to keep Tear contained by nuking. Pretty darn interesting style by Jinro. And additionally, with his constant nuking, going over to his resources tab, that's not it. What is it? Income. So, we can see every minute he's mining about 200 more gas and 400 more minerals. So every minute, he can throw away 2 nukes and still be equal on the income that Tear is. And those nukes are doing a little bit of damage. They're actually stopping this gas income. So he can actually do more, if that makes sense. And so once Jinro gets his lead, macro-wise, it doesn't seem like the nukes really hurts him. Because throwing a few nukes per minute keeps him even with his opponent in terms of the money he has left to do other things, because nukes are relatively cheap. As long as he doesn't keep throwing away ghosts, which it doesn't look like he's doing because he has so many nukes, the Protoss player kind of gets scared to move around. So, pretty interesting style from Jinro, and I gotta say, I like nukes late game. So, take care guys, hope you enjoy the game, and peace out.